Hi yogis, this is a short video all about lateral straddle in yin yoga. So in straddle pose we take our legs into a wide seated position, and for many of you already, simply by doing this, what might happen is this. Yep, so you might roll back on your sit bones and you can't get those frontal hip points forward. So straight away, if that's what's happening to you, get yourself up on a prop there and come to the edge of the prop, whatever that may be, cushion, bolster, block, and that should help you with that anterior pelvic tilt. So if you've got particularly tight hamstrings, lower back, then this might be a good option for you. For those of you who are really tight in the hamstrings, another good option, just to break up the back line a little bit, can be to roll up blankets or even cushions and pop them under the backs of your knees. And this is just going to help a little bit with that intensity in the hamstring area there. So we experiment with that. The next thing is moving into our lateral position. So in this pose, we're targeting a stretch in the adductors, in the inner thighs. So we're working with the liver, the kidney meridian here. We've got the hamstrings on the back of the legs, which is more the urinary bladder meridian. And then as we take it into our side stretches, we're going to work a lot more into the gallbladder meridians there. And you may even sort of, in some aspects, be working a little bit with the stomach and spleen on the front. As always, these yin yoga poses, we're never isolating one particular meridian, but we can shift our awareness, shift our focus between these energetic lines depending on our needs for the day or the aim of the practice. So I am obviously pretty open in this pose. Your legs might not be anywhere near as wide as mine, is another thing to consider. Now, props to come onto are pretty important here. Blocks can be good, smaller bolsters, and whether you take the prop inside or outside of your leg, again, is going to alter the sensations here. So the first way that we can kind of approach this lateral straddle is by bringing our elbow, maybe you're a bit closer, onto a prop and taking that other hand overhead. Now you can either have the arm extended, but this often creates pinching compression in the shoulder joint, in which case it might feel nicer to bring that hand somewhere behind your head. So whatever works better for you. Playing about with the depth of that block in relation to yourself, forward of the leg or behind the leg. And we want to kind of then play about when we're here with the rotation of this elbow up towards the ceiling. So we really sort of shift the stretch in spite of what's going on, the stretch in the sort of the inner knees, the adductors, the hamstrings and backs of the leg. By bringing in this upper body work here, we start to shift the stretch around our torso. And we're also opening up the upper body meridians through working into the back of the arm there, so the heart meridian, for example. So it's all going on in this pose, lots going on. So you can play about with opening the elbow a little bit more up to the ceiling. And I feel it a lot more across my stomach there, or dropping the elbow down, and I'm shifting a little bit more into my side waist, further down into moving into my back now, the side of my lower back. So it can be quite nice sometimes in these longer hold times to kind of start in one position, and then after 6-7 breaths, maybe make a little shift, just a very subtle one, barely perceivable to the outside eye. But you can feel it. You can feel this subtle dynamic shifting within you as you kind of play about with the movement of the energy in the fascia of your body, the connective tissue in your body, as you shift this notion of tension and compression, the stretch, the pull and the push. And through this, we're kind of almost massaging these connective tissues to encourage the flow of the energy, the life force chi through the plasma of the fascia itself. So that's one version there. And you can be like this if you're super open, or you can even just be here with your hand on the floor. And actually I'm still getting a beautiful side opening that way. The next thing that you can do in your lateral straddle is you can make it a little bit more focused on the backs of the legs by directing your torso more over one of your legs one at a time. So again, sort of elbows onto props here, and whether that be inside or outside, you could place a bolster across your leg, a small bolster, or you could begin to bring your head down onto props here, depending on the depth and your ROM, your range of motion available. And always with props, we can lower them as time goes on. If our edge shifts, if that stimulation that we're trying to anchor into kind of softens to a point where it's not really there, then we can change the propping. We don't have to keep the same propping the whole way through the pose. And of course you can work completely without props, and you could kind of be over the leg and almost like a clock. You could kind of shift around every now and then. Just like with the opening up and the closing of the elbows, we can shift a little bit with our arm position and see how that alters the pose. Maybe even kind of going halfway around the clock to your full straddle in the middle, and then round to work the other side. And a lovely thing in sequencing is to maybe do this more hamstring centric stretch, and then contrast it to opening up this side body. So that can be a lovely thing to explore too. So that really, go ahead and explore with side straddle. There's lots of different sensations to be experienced according to how you approach it. No right or no wrong. It's all according to what your body is asking for on any given day. Okay, so have fun with that. Thank you for watching. Namaste, bye-bye.